Hi everyone. My post is going to not only be in response to Nicole's starter post, but also in response to all of the other discussion posts, including what Erica, Leah, Kristen, and Sade all said. But I did want to start by saying that I thought Nicole introduced ethnocentrism to us really well and gave some great examples from our readings in the book and the video we watched for this discussion. And the book does in fact define ethnocentrism as the tendency to judge other people and cultures by the standards of one's own culture, and to kind of believe that our own individual beliefs, ideas, values, thoughts are better than someone else's just because they're our own. And although I think it's a very natural thing to think that, oh, I do this, so this must be the right way to do it, it's a very natural thing, and it's normal, but at the same time, you got to get past that and think, all right, well, just because someone does different things, looks different, practices different things than I do, doesn't mean they are just as nice, just as happy, just as successful, and can lead a good life too. So I think it's kind of getting past that and realizing that we're all different, but we can all still get along. So with that being said, Nicole left us with 3 really good questions, and I think I'm going to touch more on the 5 years from now question. How do you think things are going to be? But briefly, I did want to say, although colorblindness was touched on a lot in Leah's response to the colorblindness question, she had said, I do see color, but I don't judge them based off of it. And I definitely agree with that statement, and my first thought was that it's very natural to identify differences in someone, but you should get to know and learn about each individual's values and behavior, because like I said before, just because they're different doesn't mean anyone's any better, any worse. We can all still get along and be happy even if we practice different things. And then she had also mentioned how she'll ask customers, like, where are you from, with like the genuine intention to get to know them. And although some people might see it as judgmental, like, oh, I look different, like you think something's wrong with me, or you think I'm different and you think I'm not as good as you, but if you really do have the intention to get to know someone better, then I don't see a problem. I think that's almost breaking the barrier and trying to see their values and their way of life from their perspective. And then, so more into, that was the colorblindness thing. I definitely agree with a lot of what people were saying, and although, like I said before, it's natural to see the differences, because it's real life. I mean, there are differences at face value, but when you get to know people, everyone's different, and people can still get along if they practice different things. But more for the 5 years from now question, most people did, especially Kristen had mentioned how we've made great strides in gay marriage, having a black president. But one thing that wasn't really specifically mentioned, but I know a lot of people, friends in my life, people in my life, are part of, or I just know people are how big interracial couples have become and how much more accepted they are. Whether it be a black and white person, an Asian and a white person, an Indian and a black person, whatever the combination might be, there are so many more interracial couples than there have been in the past. And like, I know specifically, like, my grandmother, I would say she practices ethnocentrism. I mean, things were different back then, but even from her generation to my generation, it shows how much more accepting people have become of different races and different values and just different ways of life that people have. So I think that's a big thing to touch on, and we've come so far with all of those other things we mentioned, and in the next 5 years, I think, yeah, there's a lot going on, especially in the media, about like the whole cop situation, but I think that awareness being raised is going to is going to kind of put it in people's minds more or less, and they'll start to focus on that it is really a problem, and hopefully people will start to see that people are different, but at the same time, just because someone looks different doesn't always mean that they act different, or that they're better because of what they do or what they believe. Oh, whoops, I think when I referred to Leah with her customers, I think I meant Sade, because I said she uses her languages to relate, which again, like I said before, is important to get to know people. But overall, I think 5 years from now, ethnocentrism will continue to be kind of broken down, I think, and will become more accepting of other people. So that's my post, and that's my thoughts. Thanks.